Hey everybody, this is Dark Side Elite here, and I wanted to do a video about the first of many of the CW shows that's coming back for this season. The first one is literally The Flash. I'm gonna watch them in this order, pretty much the ones that I want to watch, the ones I'm very excited about, which is Flash, then it's Black Lightning, then it's Arrow, then it's actually Legends of Tomorrow. I want to see what they do with that. Um, I might watch Legends Tomorrow. I don't know. Then it's basically Supergirl and Batwoman. It's in that order from the most excited to the whatever. I will watch Batwoman. I've heard a lot of the reviews, but I want to be able to watch it myself and laugh at this. But let's start with the Flash. Okay, we ended last season where Nora was corrupted by the negative Speed Force, and that didn't protect her from what was going on, and a new history was rewritten. And because of them getting rid of Cicada and changing the fate of Cicada, they changed Nora's fate also. But because them changing Nora's fate, it actually sped up the Crisis event. Was supposed to be another 5 more years, which we were supposed to get maybe that at the series finale. They moved it up to this upcoming year. And there's a lot of speculations about why I think they did that, and I'll talk about that in another video. But the season premiere of this was as CW as you're gonna get. I mean, it's still pretty cool. I still like Grant Gustin as Barry. I still think that they could do a lot more deep story with Barry, but the acting on here is still pretty soap opery, and there's not really much writing depth, and not acting depth, but writing depth. It's very superficial for a TV. And I know that they could write a lot better than this. There's a lot of shows that write a lot deeper than this, and but they want to keep it commercialized, and they want to keep it very friendly towards non-comic book readers, so they can be able to follow it very closely, and that's fine too. So I mean that's what they want, but I want something a little bit more. However, the reason why I watch the Flash TV show is because I like Flash. I like the Flash. I like Barry Allen, but I love Wally West, and I like Bart Allen as the Flash. I love Jay Garrick as the Flash. I think that because he's the original classic Flash, and he has that type of mentality and that type of personality that really helps to be that mentor hero. So but let's get into this. Basically, we catch up with Barry, and he and Iris are having a lot of problems because they're not grieving about what happened with Nora. So we get a little bit more storyline about the new villain, which is Ramsey. Now, I'm gonna go into this because this is what I think they should have done with this character, and what they should have done for this whole season. This season is going to be very what if. It's going to be a lot of shrugs for a lot of people, and here's the reason why. Um, they should never did Bloodwork. I don't think they should never have done this character for this villain for this season. Um, it fits with the type of tone that they want to do. Something very deep rooted, something very nuanced, and it has a lot of repercussions later in the series. That's fine, but this season was hitched on Crisis. This was not hitched on Bloodwork. And I think that this villain is going to get written around that story so bad that a lot of people are going to go, who the heck is this guy? Who cares? We don't care. In my personal opinion, in my deepest personal opinions, and anybody can disagree, it's fine. They should have did this whole season about the Reverse Flash. This should have been a I would say an end of the circle or a full circle. That's what it is. It should have been a full circle with the battle and the war between Barry Allen and Eobard Thawne. They should have literally made, because the end of the season they battled Reverse Flash and they beat him. Okay, that was this team beating Reverse Flash, but they were prepared for it because they know that Eobard Thawne is an extremely skilled and powerful speedster in his own right. So they had to be on their A game to take him on. So Barry must have prepared them, and they must have been mentally and physically prepared to take him on. But Eobard ran away. So, and this is a guy that plans on plans on plans on plans. So this whole season, it seems like they did not think about, hey, wait a minute, Eobard Thawne is out there. Why aren't they preparing for him? Why aren't they getting prepared? Why aren't they getting more in depth and angry at what Eobarthon did, that he did this. He caused their daughter to disappear. He did all of this nonsense in the last season. He's the one that created this new cicada. He's the one that created these new contingencies. He's the one that created all this stuff to lead to the fact that he's going to get released from the future, and he can now run around in the past and the future and do whatever the hell he wants now, as long as he doesn't go back to that pinnacle point where he's supposed to die. So I truly believe that they should have made this as a repercussion for what happened last season and had it all about Eobarthon and all about Reverse Flash. It would garner a lot more fans back to this series. It would garner a huge amount of full circle for Barry and for Eobarthon, and it makes what happens in the Crisis a lot more relevant. Let's get down into it, because what people don't remember is the newspaper article that Nora showed to them last season said that during the Crisis event, they battled against Psycho Pirate and Eobarthon. They battled against the Reverse Flash. So he was prevalent in the whole Crisis event. And it was the Green Arrow, it was Batwoman, Supergirl was there, and everybody that we know is going to be there. But this season has not shown that Eobarthon is that relevant to them anymore. And I know people, and here's the defense. People can say, well, they beat him last season. He can easily, they don't really have to worry about him. I go, are you kidding me? This guy knows them. This is not a different Eobarthon. This is not a Eobarthon from a different universe or anything like that, from a different timeline. This is the same Eobarthon that was Harrison Wells for all of season 1. This is the Harrison Wells that actually still cares for Barry and doesn't really want to kill him, but he has that anger towards Barry for everything he's ever done. And we don't know that for fully sure why. We know that his backstory is he admired and loved the Flash, but what spurred him down to become the Reverse Flash? What were the events that led him down to become that? We don't know that. Casual audience members don't really know that. They only gave us little superficial levels of evidence. But I would love them to spend at least one whole episode on this version of Eobard and why he hates Barry Allen so much. And it makes sense to tie it all off so people can understand, oh, this is the reason why he started to truly care and see him as not as an enemy anymore, but as a legitimate son, that he actually helped train him to become the hero that he grew up knowing him as. And it comes full circle for Iris. It comes full circle for Cisco. It comes full circle for Caitlin and Killer Frost. And it comes full circle even for Ralph Dibny, the Elongated Man. It comes full circle for all these characters, mainly for Joe, Cisco, Caitlin, Iris, and Barry, for when they're dealing with Eobard, because he's the one that forced Eddie Thawne to kill himself so he can get rid of him and become this great hero in his own right, to end his legacy, in his bloodline. So I wish they did Eobarthon as the main villain of this whole season again, and tie off his storyline in Crisis. So if Tom Cavanaugh doesn't want to be him anymore, we're good. We got everything we ever needed, and they ended his storyline and they ended everything for him. So then anybody can say, well, what are they going to do for the next half of the season? Easy. They bring back Matt Lechner's version. They could bring back another Eobarthon that never dealt with him. He's another Eobarthon, and it's a fresh Eobarthon, and that would actually tie off more storyline, and they could easily get rid of him, and that's the end of all of Eobarthon. He's gone. He's erased from all of timelines. So you can easily bring back Matt Lechner's version and have him finish off what Tom Cavanaugh's version was doing, and end the whole season of Barry and Eobard going at each other one last time to end their race. And that will be the end of it. Now everybody can say, okay, well, Barry can't die in this season, because that means it'd be a series finale. That's why I'm speculating that it's not going to be Barry. What the Monitor always told them was, the Flash has to die in Crisis for billions of lives to be spared. That's why I've said numerous times that it cannot be Grant Gustin's version. It has to be John Wesley Shipp's version. It has to be either the 90s Flash or Jay Garrick. it has to be one of them that ends that sacrifices himself so Barry can live his life. Because regardless or not, the 90s Flash lived his life. He's been this great hero for his Central City for a long, long time. So him sacrificing himself will make a lot of sense. Jay Garrick, he's lived his life. He may have found Joan. They've had a great life together, but she'll be very upset about it, but she will know he's lived his life. He's been this great hero for their Central City. I mean, I'm sorry. We don't know if it's Central City or if it was oh, I forgot the other city. There's two places where the Flash saves the city, and she could not be very upset about it. Like, she's happy that he was able to do that. He was happy to save everybody. And Jay Garrick is the Flash that doesn't have his speed. He's losing his speed. So that's why I believe that one or two things going to happen. The 90s Flash is going to sacrifice himself to save everybody, or Jay Garrick is going to get a dose of velocity, and he's going to do it. He's going to be the one that saves everybody's life at a sacrifice of his own. He knows he's going to lose his speed, so it doesn't matter to him. He's done everything he possibly could. And that would be a great tie to John Wesley Shipp's version. That would be a great tie to that he's ending the Crisis event as the Flash. And it would be phenomenal. It would be a great way to end John Wesley Shipp off the show, and he doesn't have to come back at all. I mean, that means that Jay Garrick is gone, and he doesn't have to come back as any version of Jay Garrick or Henry Allen. He doesn't have to. So I really hope that they do one of those two things, either the 90s Flash or Jay Garrick. They're the ones that sacrifice themselves, so Grant Gustin's version does not have to, because that's the loophole. All they said is the Flash has to die in Crisis. And I think that if people really think about it, it makes more sense, because you're not going to end this show. It's still one of the bigger shows on the CW, but its ratings were dropping on the Nielsen ratings. It's been dropping, but it's still one of their biggest shows of the season. It's still one of their biggest shows of the network, next to Supernatural, and Supernatural's ending this year. So I think that a lot of people are going to really tune out if you get rid of Grant Gustin as the Flash. I'm sorry, they're going to tune out. All right. But going back to Bloodwork, I think that Bloodwork's character would have been better the next following season. After everything they're dealing with, the massive losses that they're dealing with, Oliver's dying. Oliver's gone. Jay Garrick is gone. How many people are going to lose in the Crisis event? All these people are going to be dead and gone. Now they're dealing with a guy that says, I'm not dying, and he's refusing to let anybody else die. He's trying to save people's lives. That would make a lot more sense after all this stuff, and Barry coming to terms that he just lost his best friend in Oliver, and he lost all these people, but millions and billions of lives and billions of realities are going to be spared because of those sacrifices. And that would have been a lot better in the next season, not in this season, because this season is them coming to terms with their fates. And it does come in terms with even Ramsey's character, because eventually everybody does die. But his story would be a lot better told in the next following season. And this whole season should be about coming full circle and Barry and Eobard ending their race. He's ending the race between him and Eobard. And that would settle everything about Eobard Thawne's character, and they can move on from any other version of Eobard Thawne. They can easily tell more stories with other villains. But that's what I think. I mean, this first episode was pretty good. They used the Queen's Flash theme song from the movie. I felt that was very cringeworthy. It doesn't fit with this version of the Flash. It doesn't fit with Flash. They only did it because it's just Flash. And I'm like, okay. I mean, it doesn't hit any nostalgia. What they could have done was they could have did the music from the 90s Flash. They could have done that music. That would have been really interesting. They could have did a rendition of the 90s Flash theme music. They could have did the music from any other version of the Flash, from any other version of the Flash comic books, or a type of music that would have fit for this version of Barry Allen's Flash. That'd have been really cool. But doing Flash Gordon theme song for Barry Allen's Flash is kind of, what the hell? I mean, to me, it doesn't fit. If you guys liked it, okay, that's fine. That's great. But I'm just saying, from my point of view, from the character and the level of story they're trying to tell, That song made no sense. It just threw everything else off. Um, but how he's using his speed is really good. I still think that they need to. They're really showing that he's very very intelligent. He understands a lot of things, but he still has to rely on Cisco to to do more of the engineering and the explanation of the sciences when that's not his theory. I mean, that's not his background. His background is not particle physics. His background is engineering and some physics, not particle physics and not quantum theory. I mean, that should be way out of his league. I mean, but physics is physics, but he should not be able to break down and understand the composure of a black hole. You know, there's certain things in there that really suspend the disbelief, and also there's a few things in there that made you question their physics itself for the TV show. Um, Not in the Flash, not for the Flash, but for regular people. The second episode, I think the second episode was much better. It was very emotional driven, and to me it felt better for that to come forward. Barry coming to terms that, hey, you know what, billions have to die. I mean, billions have to live, but for one person to die to save himself, to save billions, that's a great honor. That's a great sacrifice. But Iris is playing Iris, and I understand from her point of view, she doesn't want to lose anybody else. She just lost her daughter in front of her, and now she's gonna lose her husband. She's gonna lose the man of her life, the love of her life. I understand that, but her character should also come to terms that you're willing to sacrifice billions just so you can have that peace of mind, so everything gets wiped out. That's selfish in my personal opinion. But for this time being, I'm hoping that they don't keep her this way for the whole all the way to Crisis. I hope that she comes to terms with it and understands the eventuality that people are gonna die, and it does suck. But you have to come to terms with it. Barry chose this life, and he has to be the one that makes the sacrifices if it means for that city to live further. And that's the reason why we need to have, at the end of this, they got to do the Flash Museum. I have a feeling they're going to do the Flash Museum. They're going to do the Flash Museum and talk about all of his accomplishments, and you're going to have Barry and Iris going through there and all this other stuff. And I have a huge feeling that while they're going through it, Iris is going to reveal that she's pregnant. She's going to reveal, I'm pregnant. And in the center of all of Central City, I'm sorry, of the Flash Museum, they're going to be very, very happy. And that's the way that they should end this in that season, that she's pregnant now. So now we're gonna have a pregnant Iris West. Now, my question is for everybody else out there, what do you think? This is the question. What do you think? Do you think that Barry should disappear for a little while, then they bring him back as a big derp, or should it either be the '90s Flash? And the '90s Flash isn't gone. I think that he made him teleport. He teleported him away. I think that they gave. I think that they used that plot point to get rid of the '90s Flash. So literally they have the option to say, hey, wait a minute, bring back that guy. We need him, and they bring back the '90s Flash. Now, there's a lot of stuff we know and we don't know about what's going on for Crisis. We know that Pariah is going to be in it, Harbinger, which is played by Tom Cavanaugh, and the woman that plays as Lila from Arrow. We know that LeGarrette Lamoric, the guy who's playing as the Monitor, is going to be playing as Mobius, the Anti-Monitor, which looks very strange and weird. That was a weird choice for them to do. They made him look like a White Walker. That looks very strange. He looks like the Night King. It looks very strange. I don't know why they did that choice. Um, um, they said that Brandon Routh is going to be playing as Superman. He's playing as the Christopher Reeve Superman. He is playing that version of Superman, and they're gonna bookend his storyline on the CW. So they're gonna write it out where his story ends, and that means that they're gonna move away from he's not gonna play that version of Superman, and also he's not playing as Ray Palmer anymore. He's walking away from the role. We're gonna get Linda Carter most likely as Wonder Woman. They're talking about Kevin Conroy. They're talking about some pictures of Batman, Michael Keaton's Batman. From '89 Batman, and all the stuff that's going on with him, and all this other stuff. So they're doing a lot of nostalgia on this Crisis event. I'm hoping that it's not going to be so jam packed the story gets kind of lost. It gets kind of lost. I know people are gonna get giddy over this, but I think that I'd rather have story over. I'd rather have substance over style. I don't care if they have Linda Carter there. I don't care. Give me a really, really good crisis story, and you got me. Now, if they could tell that story while not losing the substance of what crisis really means and how it's gonna change the whole foundation of the CW, then cool, cool. Give that to me. Um, I hope that they don't introduce the streaming service characters. I don't want them to. They're too hardcore. They're way too hardcore. You're gonna go from these characters who are doing rated R stuff down to, guess what? Now they're doing level light PG-13, almost PG to PG-13. No, thank you. That no, don't bring them on there. It's a waste. It's a waste of their characters and honestly a waste of their time. Um, and now I'll wait till the crisis event. But my bigger thing is, what else is after this? What else is after this? What other crossovers can they do? Um, we're gonna find out. But I have some speculations and my own personal opinion and some things that I think they should do. But we have to find out. We have to see. And but like, comment, share, subscribe down below. Like I said, I will talk a little bit more about the Flash. I will give some quick recaps of the episode, not spoiling anything. This is not that big of a spoiler. The episodes were both of them were really good. The first episode was okay. The second episode was actually very good, very character driven, and it gave you a lot more about Barry and Iris and where everyone's mindset is going to be at. And I hope that they don't write themselves into massive levels of corner. All right, so hit that bell. I will be putting up more videos. You guys have a great one, and have a great day. Bye.